Would you like to know how detachment is the key to that big L love, the love that you desire so much? Well, keep watching and I'll explain. Hello, my name is Francesca, and I'm a love, dating, and relationships coach. So, if that's the kind of content that you're into, click like, click subscribe, and the notification bell. It would help me and my channel out so very much. So detachment. It's interesting because a lot of times when people hear that, they get all sorts of different ideas in their head about what that means. And so I've been pondering this for months. Well, way longer than that, but more specifically, because I had two clients not too long ago, and each time when I brought up detachment or being unattached, because I am empathic, I could feel the one woman just like this clench in her heart. She's like, "Oh, does that mean that I can't receive love because I'm so?" And I was like, "Ooh, whoa, whoa, what's going on here?" And so, I explained and walked her through some things. We did a little process protocol, recorded it so she could listen to it, repeat it as needed, etc. And I was like, that was really interesting. That was a really interesting response. I'm going to sit with that and ponder what other layers are underneath that. And then, like the next week, same thing with a client as I was explaining, how she was attached to the ex-boyfriend, and we were going to look at, the responsibility piece, return, retrieve, and the panic that came up. And I was like, ooh. I was like, well, this seems to be a common struggle, and there seems to be a common misconception about what detachment really is. And so as I've looked at this and pondered it, what has come up is that I think there's this misconception that detachment is equal to like passive or emotionless. Like if they're detached and they're not going to feel any emotion. And so at the end of the day, the love, what the big L love, what's really underneath that is all about connection. And so people have twisted, intertwined connection with attachment. And they're two totally separate things. And it's really hard, I think, for people to wrap their heads around that because society has like placed that on us. And most people know codependent relationships. It's when they start to move into a healthy co-creative relationship, it's completely different than what they were previously used to. And so anytime something is new, there's going to be that little bit of resistance because what we know, there's a safety to it because we know it so well. And humans by nature crave safety. Like we have to feel safe. And if something isn't safe, then we feel anxious and it gets all crazy out of control. So detachment really means allowing that person to be responsible for their own actions and not taking any responsibility. It means letting go of the need to try to control, because that control is linked to that anxiousness, which is linked to that safety. So when people place that connection on that person, we give away responsibility. And then when we give away that responsibility, then we have the anxiety because we've now disempowered ourselves. And so we're going to try to get that back. And so it just becomes this really entangled web, and it makes people attach in a very unhealthy way. And so to kind of help with that, I'm going to use the metaphor of like a basket, because it was just Easter here not too long ago, and I thought this was perfect. So to try to explain this idea with a visual. So imagine you have an Easter basket, and this Easter basket is filled with your favorite candy, right? And so imagine those pieces are all your little connection chips, your responsibility, right? And so what humans tend to do is then like, oh, I like this person, I love this person, so I'm going to give them all my candy because it's my favorite candy. I'm going to give it away. And so you're giving away that responsibility for connection to that other person. But then guess what? Your basket's empty. It's so sad. So you want your candy back because it's your favorite candy. And you're like, hey, can I get my candy back? Or can you give me some of that candy? And so there's always going to, and so it's disempowered. You're anxious. You're going to try to get those candies back. And does it work? Absolutely not. Anybody that has done that knows that it doesn't work. It just becomes this cyclical reaction, because then you get reactive because you don't have your favorite candy anymore, and it makes you really upset and you feel anxious inside and it's not safe. And then you start to do things subconsciously that sabotage, because all you really want is that connection. So that's one way we do it, by giving away a responsibility. That's an attachment. And then another way we do it is, imagine your partner then gives you all their favorite candy. So you have your empty basket and they're like, okay, you need connection. I'm going to give you some connection. I'm going to give you all these candies. They're my favorite candies, but I'm going to give them to you. So you're like, okay. So now I have this basket, but it doesn't have my favorite candy. And then with a parent, a sibling, a friend, they give you their favorite candies. And so all of a sudden you have this basket and it's overflowing. And you're starting to lose all these candies, but now there's no room your favorite candy, and all you really want is your favorite candy. So then, but there's no space, you can't receive. So you see, does that make sense? So it goes both ways. It can be the empty basket syndrome or the overflowing basket, but you don't have any more space for your favorite candy. And so awareness is key. And I imagine that if you are watching this channel, you have a higher level of awareness, you want a more mindful, conscious relationship. And so detachment is the key. And detachment simply is, I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. You are responsible for meeting your needs for connection. They're responsible for their needs and their actions. And you have two then whole people that are mindful and aware, that are taking care of themselves, that come together. And the love then that you can receive is so much deeper than that detached or that attached, because that attached, you're never going to feel safe. Whereas when you have a connection inside, you're not responsible, you're not controlling, you have the safety going on. And so then you can co-create this beautiful partnership where you are a team, because each person has their basket with their own stuff and they're loving it and they're enjoying it and they're just hopping along on their path. So I hope that that made sense. If you would like another video about this, let me know in the comments. If you would like me to record a meditation with a process about retrieving your connection candies or returning your connection candies, let me know as well in the comments. I'd be more than happy to do so. and let me know what little nuggets or insights that you got. I would love to hear from you. I am here to support you on your journey. It's part of my Dharma. So thank you for allowing me to express my Dharma at a deeper level. And I will also leave a link below for you to sign up for a session. I also have a 3-session series offer going on right now. Happy spring, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. So thank you so much for watching. I am deeply grateful. And until next time, more love vibes to come. Ciao.